Now, the first thing I want you to have in mind today is that when you hear the word healthy, I'm not talking about health. I'm talking about the word healthy. When you hear the word healthy, always remember that it is not a universal constant. It is not. Something that is healthier to you can be unhealthy to others. And that doesn't mean the food is not good. So that is why I said it is not a universal constant. And the core concept is one man's meat is another's poison. Like I always say on the show. And the theme is bioindividuality. Just because a food is nutrient dense doesn't mean it interacts well with every person's unique biology. No, it doesn't. So the food is good for me doesn't mean it's good for you. And that doesn't mean the food is not good. The food, the diet, the meal, whatever you put in your plate might be super healthy. That is for you. That is for your body. That is if the food actually not giving you any reaction. That is when you can say it is good, regardless of what you have on your plate, either good food or unhealthy ones. And other might eat it and they might not feel anything. So that is what we call bioindividuality. Okay? So now let's start with superfood. Because we all believe that when we eat this superfood, we've eaten the best on earth. Of course, hearing the word super, it tells us nothing but the food is good. The food is great. The food is amazing. The food is quality. Whatever adjective you want to use to qualify the food, the word shows that the food is good. That is why we call it superfood. And that is what everybody goes for now. I want to be healthy. That's why I want to go for superfood. That's okay. It's fine. But that doesn't mean the foods in these categories cannot hurt your system. And this go beyond reading nutrients label. It's about how your body responds to it in real time. Like I said earlier, the way my body is going to react to the food, so-called healthy, is going to be different from the way your body is going to respond to the food. Since everyone's chemistry is different, you have to become a bit of body detective when it comes to anything you put in your plate. Now, we're not talking about unhealthy food here. We don't even want to talk about it. Because we all go for healthy food. That is what we're talking about here. Now, there are primary ways to tell if your diet is actually working for you or not. There are many ways. I'm going to mention few because of time, because I don't want to stay too long on social media. It's not good. So I'm going to be taking these ways one after the other. And I'll start with what we call post-meal energy test. That's the first way to tell that the food you are about to eat will actually work for your body. post-meal energy test. That's what it's called. What is this? What type of test is this? Now, this post-meal energy test shows a good sign that your food is working for you if you feel steady, focused energy for 3 to 4 hours after eating. After you finish eating, 3 to 4 hours after, you feel steady. Nothing is wrong with you. No headache, no itching, no rashes, no blood vision, no dizziness, no pain, nothing. It means the food is good for your body. But it becomes a red flag if you feel a food coma, if you have extreme sleepiness, a sudden sugar crash shortly after consuming the meal. And that happens to a lot of people like that. Yes. It means the food caused an insulin spike that your body struggled to manage. That is what happened right there. You begin to feel sleepy. And you begin to feel something going on. Maybe you have constant urination or something is going on. It's a red flag that the food is not for your body. And this food coma occurs when you begin to feel extremely tired after a meal. This usually happens to people with diabetes a lot because they have issue with their sugar, their glucose. You finish your food and you start feeling extreme tired. The extreme tiredness just come. Lethargy or brain fog about 30 minutes to an hour after eating a large meal. It means the food is not good for your body. Now, why does food coma happen? The two words, food coma. You understand when people go on coma, of course. So when food coma happens, what does that mean? Now, it is not just because blood is leaving the brain to go to the stomach. It is more about the chemical signals your body sends out. When you eat, especially high carbs or sugary healthy food, we also eat sugar when it comes to healthy food. In fact, the healthy food carry a lot of sugar than unhealthy food. For instance, the fruits, they have a natural calories. That is sugar right there. And that is why some people with diabetes, there's some fruit they cannot eat. If anybody tells you that be eating fruit and you are just eating fruit, every fruit that comes around you want to eat because people tells you that it is good for people with diabetes. No, not all the fruit you can consume because you have diabetes. It's going to make your sugar rise. You need to see a specialist, nutritionist, dietitian, to actually plan your diet because you have underlying illness. You can't just eat any food out there, especially fruit, even though they're good. Not for everybody. So when you eat this type of food, contain of high carb, sugary food, your body releases insulin. And this triggers your brain, to release what I call serotonin and melatonin. The hormones that make you feel happy but very sleepy. These two hormones, the serotonin make you feel happy. It's the hormone in your body that make you feel happy. Very excited. Amazing. If you see anybody laughing, happy, serotonin in the body make it happen. And the melatonin make you sleep. And that is why you see a lot of people taking melatonin because they couldn't sleep. The natural melatonin in their body have already decreased, especially when we age. A lot of hormones decrease in our body when we age. As you age, lots and lots of hormones declines in your body. So melatonin is one of it. So when you eat this type of food high in carb and sugar a lot, we are talking about healthy food. We are not talking about unhealthy food here. I want you to understand that. Look behind me. We're talking about healthy food. So when you eat any healthy food that is so high in carb, such as you can take oats, that is carb. Brown rice is also carb. They are all healthy food, yet they still have carb. So we call them healthy carb. Fruit also have sugar, natural sugar, that they are also healthy food. So when you consume any of these, your body releases insulin, and that triggers your brain to release serotonin and melatonin. Okay? That is what we call an insulin spike. Yes. Now, food coma happens when you eat a large meal and the stomach stretches. Your stomach becomes bigger, which activates the vagus nerve. And this tells your nervous system to switch. So this is what we call, this is what happens when a food coma happens. Okay? Now, the next primary way to tell if your body, your diet is working for your body is through what I call digestive feedback. Remember, number one is post-meal energy test. That is where your insulin spike and you have a food coma. The second one is digestive feedback, through digestive feedback. Now, the good sign about digestive feedback is that your food is cooperating with your system if your digestion is quiet and unnoticeable. If you finish eating and you don't have diarrhea, you don't have any stomach upset, nobody is looking at you that after eating, what is the problem? Why are you running? Why are you, running back and forth from the bathroom? That means you don't have issue. The food is good. However, your meal is not working for you if you have frequent bloating, gas, acid reflux, or brain fog immediately after eating. I'm also a witness. Whenever I eat certain food, I will have bloating. Bloating is when you eat and your stomach become bigger. After some couple of hours, it comes down. That is what we call bloating. It's always like that when you eat. That is bloating. And gas, of course, you release gases and you begin to feel uncomfortable within you, going, things like that. So when any of this happens, it means the food is not good for you. Even healthy foods like beans or raw kale can cause this if your gut microbiome is not currently equipped to handle them. That is why you have to be very careful of what you eat and how they are all being prepared. How you prepare your food, it is very, very important. How you prepare your food, how you make it, it is important. It's very important. Yes. Now, bloating, gas, acid reflux or brain fog are all red flags that the food is not good for your system. When you begin to feel any of these, see any sign of these, begin to feel uncomfortable. You begin to feel your stomach, when I eat broccoli, I will be having bloating. When I drink certain, one type of coffee, I'll be having headache. If I'm not the person that usually pay attention to my body, I won't notice this. I will continue eating, and that causes a lot of damages in the body. So it is important you pay attention to your body after eating. Some will begin to feel this problem after 2 hours. It's okay. You actually need to wait 2 hours before you can see symptoms. Things like this. Number 3, the third primary way to know if your body is working well for your body, the food is working well for your body, is through what I call inflammation signals. Inflammation signals. All these are health problems. Yet, the so-called healthy food still find it difficult to help us with this. And I'll tell you why that happens. So, inflammation signals is another way to know that the food is not working well with your body. Because your body often uses your skin and joints to send messages. And that's where inflammation comes. Inflammation is when something swells up. A lot of things can become inflamed in your body. You cannot see it. And that's why we call it inflammation. Because something within you is inflamed. Yes. Now, when it comes to your skin and your joint, when your skin reacts to any food negatively, this is when you begin to experience frequent breakouts, rashes, or puffiness. And this signal can be a reaction to specific healthy triggers like dairy or high fructose fruit. Yes, many people, they consume dairy food like milk, cheese, and they begin to have inflammation. Yes, some people will eat certain fruit, like one of my children, she doesn't eat watermelon. If she does, there's gonna be chaos in the house. Because of her, I don't buy it, I don't eat it, nobody eats it in my family. Because when it happens to one person in the family, everybody feels it. Everybody in the house will feel it. So we were able to know that because we pay attention to our body. That's the point. Now, any food you eat and you wake up with stiff or achy joints, it is an inflammatory response to certain proteins or lectins in your diet. When you wake up, after eating, you wake up, you begin to feel pain in your knees, your shoulder, your back, everything is just aching, things like that. It means the body, the food, something is wrong with that food. There's a certain proteins or lectins in your diet that cause that. Okay? So pay attention to that. Now, the fourth one, you can also discover if your food is working well for your body through cravings and fullness. Craving. And you crave for something. We also crave for healthy food. You see certain people, when they have one diet or one healthy food, they want to be eating it because they love it. That is what we call craving. That can show that the food is good or it's not good. Please share the show to invite others. A lot of people are suffering. They don't know what is wrong with them. Let's save lives. Share the show, please. You feel satiated. Comfortably full. And you don't think about food for several hours. It is a good sign that particular food you ate a few hours ago is good for your body. When you feel satisfied, you feel comfortable, you're so satiated, nothing is wrong, you don't crave for it, you don't feel like eating it again, like, give me again, let me take it again. It is a sign that that particular food you just ate a few hours ago is good for your body. Yes. Now, it becomes a red flag if you feel full but hungry. If your stomach is physically stretched, but you are immediately hunting for something sweet or salty. When many people will feel full, like after they finish eating, to the point that the stomach almost burst out, they still want to eat that sweet stuff. They still want to eat those salty food because of the craving. You crave for it. Yes. This usually means the food was nutrients poor. You hear the words? Nutrients poor, or it lacks the right balance of fats and protein for your biology. It is not that the food is not good. It has a nutrient. But that particular nutrient lacks the right balance of fats and protein for your body, for your biology. That doesn't mean it will do the same thing to the next person, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your family, your friend. It doesn't mean the same thing they will feel. It is your body. That is why it is your biology. Even if the food has proteins and fats, when it gives that kind of reaction, it means it is not the right balance of fat and protein for your body, for your biology. If you have had experience like this, or you are experiencing it at this moment, at the moment right now, I know some people watching me will be feeling the same thing I'm talking about. You want to do what I call simple testing methods. Simple testing methods is what you do. I'm not saying you should do it right away. You can do it later. The first one is called food journaling. You have your journal. You want to be writing. You track your food. In the morning, your lunch, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. If you take supper, you can put it in there, in that your book. You are doing that because you are experiencing all this. You don't have to track anything if you don't experience what I just mentioned. So you want to have what I call food journaling. The food you eat, you want to be putting it them the time you eat them. Because everything you eat has time. They have time to calculate when they start working in your body, when they start reacting in your body. It is timing. It's called timing. So by the time you start putting down, having your journal to put all that down, you'll be able to know which one is actually reacting or not. Believe me or not, when you eat food now, it is not going to be reacting within 30 to 1 hour. It will start reacting after 2 hours. If you feel anything, it is not that particular food you eat right now. It is the one you ate yesterday that is reacting. Many people don't know this. I am telling you for free that if any food reacts in your body, it is not the food you eat within 30 to 1 hour. No, it is not. No. So now, food journal is this. By tracking what you eat and how you feel after 2 hours, you just made what we call food journaling. You will quickly see patterns. For instance, every time I have a particular coffee, like I said, I get headache. If I don't pay attention, if I don't have my thing put down, written down somewhere to know what is actually causing that problem, because I eat different food, I drink different teas, I have a bunch of them that I choose at my own convenience time. So how do I know which one is giving me that headache if I don't do what I call journaling? And you have to wait 2 hours to notice this. 2 hours to notice. Otherwise, you mix things up. You will mix things up. So it is important we have this journaling down. Now, why do we have to wait 2 hours for simple testing? Why? Number one, the blood sugar peak and valley. You should know what I mean by that. Peak. That is when it rise and when it become low. When it become low. When it's high, when it's low. That is blood sugar peak and valley. Now, waiting 2 hours is the magic window. Like I always tell people that when you eat, there is a 12 hours window for that, 12 hours to 72 hours for that food to take effect, to be digested. I'm going to get there shortly. So, waiting for 2 hours, we call it magic window because of how our metabolisms and sugar work. Whether you have diabetes or you don't have diabetes, whatever you consume, make your sugar, your glucose rise. You just have to know that. And that doesn't mean you have diabetes. That's why do a testing. When you eat certain food, get this glucose testing device, machine. Do your glucose test. You will see how your blood sugar will rise. You will think you have diabetes. It is a natural thing that happens in your body. Don't worry about it. I'm just telling you for you to have deep understanding in what I'm just talking about. Do you understand? So that's what happened. So in medicine, it is called the postprandial. That means after meal. That is it. When you wait 2 hours, It is called postprandial, after meal period. Okay. Now, when you eat, your blood sugar rises. Let me now use healthy person. I'm not talking about unhealthy now. And when I say unhealthy, that doesn't mean the person is about to die. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people with no any underlying issues. You don't have diabetes, you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have cancer, no kidney problem, no this, no that. You are considered to be healthy body. We are talking to you. In a healthy body, insulin should step in and bring those levels back towards normal level within 2 hours. When you eat and your blood sugar rises, because it's going to rise, there's nothing you can do about it. When you eat any food or you drink any liquid, any fluid that is not water, as long as it is not water, you drink or you eat, your blood sugar rises. Now, in someone who has no issues, no health issue, that's why I say in a healthy body, insulin should step in and bring that your blood sugar that rises and bring it down within 2 hours. That is what's supposed to happen in your body when you eat certain food. This period is called the blood sugar peak and valley. Do you understand that? Now, another reason why waiting for 2 hours for simple testing is for gastric emptying time. When you empty something, you discard something. For instance, you have water in a cup, you discard it, you pour it away. That is what I mean by gastric emptying time. Because of that, you have to wait for 2 good hours to see if your body is actually reacting to food you eat, either negatively or positively. It takes roughly 60 to 120 minutes for a meal to move from your stomach into the small intestine. Now, when this is happening, this is where the most intense nutrients absorptions happens. When you eat certain food, every organs in your body must receive part of that food you eat. And that is why we always, advised that make sure your food is balanced, your meal is balanced. You have at least 50% nutrients. If you cannot get 100, you must have 50% nutrients in any meal you consume daily, because your body needs it, and every organs in your body share those food that contain nutrients. And that is what I mean by that is the time the most intense nutrients absorption happens, because everybody takes their parts. You have vitamin C, you have protein, you have minerals, you have carb, healthy, you have all those 5 or 6 nutrients. This is the time the absorption of your body begin to absorb it, meaning that all the organs in your body begin to take it. They begin to they begin to take it, like minerals, vitamins, protein, fat, carb, this and that. This is the time between 60 to 120 minutes this happen. Yes. Now, if you experience bloating or brain fog at the 2 hours mark, it usually means the food is struggling to be processed in the gut, or it is triggering an immune response as it enters the bloodstream. When this is happening, the absorption is happening. If you feel bloating, your tummy becomes bigger. After 2 hours you eat, your stomach become bigger. That is bloating. Bloating. Let me use African English. Bloating. That's what I mean by bloating. Or you begin to have brain fog. Either you have headache or whatever it is. Some people will eat certain food. It will feel like your head wants to blow off. Have you ever feel like that? Have you ever feel something like that? That is what I'm talking about. Some will eat certain food and it will look like the airplane is rolling, like you see airplane rolling like this. Your eyes will be rolling like the whole world is trying to come down to an end. Everything. Things happen like that. A lot of people feel like that. It's something I've felt before. I'm just talking from experience now. And the reason why I chose this profession, nutrition and health, is because of this problem, this issue of, health issue like acne, bloating. And when I begin to pay attention, research, what exactly is the problem? I began to know the problem. Then I said, really, if this can help me, I have to help others that is going through the same problem I am going through. Don't get me wrong, it might not be the same thing I ate and I was able to resolve. It might be something different, but I'm still saying that most of these things we consume, either healthy and unhealthy, they also hurt our body. Now, imagine those who are not eating healthy food. What will happen to them? That is it. Now, remember, the entire food digestion, the process usually takes time. It takes place between 24 to 72 hours. That is 1 to 3 days. If anybody tells you that the food you just ate 1 minute, 30 minutes, 1 hour ago is digesting right and during that time, or it has digested, it's a lie. The food digests between 1 to 3 days, depending on the food you eat. That is why it takes 3 days. Imagine if you eat yam compared to when you eat fruit. Fruit contains a lot of fiber and vitamins. And you need vitamins, we call it micronutrients, to break down the carb, which is the yam. So if you are eating carbs and you are not taking, minerals, vitamins to help you, which is considered to be micronutrient, to help you break down your carb, then it will take you forever to digest the yam. That is why I said it takes 1 to 3 days for that your food you just ate to digest. So the 2 hours window is just the first phase of food digestion. Your food don't digest within 2 hours. Don't be deceived. Go online and research. Everything I'm saying here, I always tell you to go and do your findings. Research, read books, ask questions. If you don't have access to, online, online resources, go ahead and speak to professionals. They will tell you. Yes. The 2 hours window is just the first phase of digestion because it only takes about 2 to 4 hours for food to leave your stomach. Yes. And leaving the stomach doesn't mean the food has digested. The food is not fully digested when it leaves the stomach. It's just the first phase. The role of your stomach is to turn any solid food into thick liquid called chyme. Chyme, C-H-Y, chyme. When the food is processed in your stomach, we call it chyme. It has not become igbe yet in your stomach. So leaving the stomach is just the exit from the blender. Just like you blend the sauce, whatever you blend in the blender. Is if when you blend pepper, for instance, can you begin to drink that pepper? No. You have to cook before it becomes soup or sauce or stew before you can eat it. So that stomach is a blender. So when the food leaves that your stomach, it's just an exit from the blender. The actual work of digestion has barely even started. It has not started. And you know what? Let me stop here. I need to stop here on digestion because this point is taking me out of this topic, even though they are related topics. I don't want to dive into digestion now. Maybe we should talk about that next week. Or what do you think? Let's do that next week because it's a very broad information. You need to know how the food you eat turns to feces in your body. How your body processes the food you eat. It is important you know that. Okay, so let's do that next week. But I need to let you know this. Digestion matters in this topic. Healthy foods, unhealthy results. Why? Because if you have leaky gut or food sensitivities, the food might leave your stomach just fine. But once it eats the small intestine, your immune system might attack it. Yes, so whatever happens in your body, it happens after 2 hours. That means that thing has attacked the food in your stomach before it now moves to any part of your body, which I'm going to talk about next week. I'll come here and talk about it next week. Food digestion. For instance, if you eat healthy grain piece of toast, it leaves your stomach in 2 hours, but 4 hours later, you have a massive headache or joint pain. That is because the digestion, the absorption in the small intestine triggers an inflammation response. The food is not digested. It has not digested at all until it is broken down small enough to actually fuel your cells. To fuel yourself. That is what I call fuel. Yes. It is just passing through you or causes an immune war in your gut. You aren't getting the benefits of that healthy food. And that is why digestion matters in this topic. There's no way you can treat this without mentioning digestion. It is not possible. If anybody talk about this and no digestion is mentioned or talked about, it is not complete. Now, this one, this is one of the reasons why waiting 2 hours later for simple testing is necessary when eating certain foods to know whether the food is good for you or not at the gastric emptying time. Did we get that part? the next one, which is number 3. You also wait for 2 hours to test if the food works for your body or not because of the false positive of fullness. What does that mean? Immediately after eating, you feel full simply because your stomach is physically stretched. Once you feel that your stomach is becoming bigger, that means you are full, right? If you look at your food, this stomach is full. Let me just stop. That is not a reaction. It is just physics. It is physics. When you eat and your stomach becomes bigger, you feel like, okay, I'm done. I'm full. I can't even feed anymore. Let me just leave this stomach alone. It is not a reaction. It is just physics. Now, by waiting 2 hours, the physical stretch has faded and you can feel the chemical reaction. If you are suddenly starving again or craving sugar for 2 hours after a healthy meal, that meal didn't actually nourish your cell properly. Yes, it didn't. It didn't nourish your body. And that's what we call false positive of fullness. All right? And lastly, you wait 2 hours to test if the food works for your body or not to avoid the transit noise. You call it transit noise. If you test too soon, you might just be feeling the effect of your previous meal. I said it earlier. Because the 2 hours gap gives your system enough time to isolate the specific effect of the food you just ate. So if you feel anything before 2 hours, that is the food you ate yesterday. Or you ate in the morning, depending on when you are trying to figure out the problem. So on this note, testing time. Keep a simple log for 3 days. If you really want to do it, you want to look your best. And you've been experiencing a lot of things when you eat. You want to do this testing. Rate your energy, your focus, and your bloating on a scale of 1 to 10, exactly 2 hours after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you take supper, do the same thing. A lot of people eat 4 times a day. They want to keep record. The white men said we should be eating 4 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, supper, and dinner. To which stomach? Why? So I'm focusing on 3 servings now. You have breakfast, you have lunch, you have dinner. Make sure you keep that your log for 3 days. At least. Because it takes 1 to 3 days for your food to digest. So keep that log. You want to rate your energy, you want to rate your focus, you want to rate your bloating when your stomach begins to swell up after eating. Rate it 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10. Exactly 2 hours after. Don't do it before 2 hours. So make sure it is 2 hours before you start rating it. When you eat certain food and after 2 hours, you begin to have this, your bloating, you begin to have you begin to feel fatigue or weak, you're feeling sleepy. You want to rate how long does it take for you to, how long does it take to sleep? When do you start having that dizziness? All those things. You have to keep that record. That's the simple log I'm talking about. You will be shocked at which healthy foods are actually scoring the lowest. You are eating good, right? You are eating healthy. Your food in your refrigeration contains healthy food. No junks. But do what I told you to do. What I just said. Keep that simple log for 3 days. You will be surprised. By the time you begin to see that your so-called healthy food, the numbers they are giving you, because you are feeling all those signs, you will be shocked. I'm telling you. But mind you, that doesn't mean the food is not good. Don't get me wrong. They are super healthy. Healthier than what you think. But because they are not for your biology, not for your body. Let me use myself as an example. I'm going to come here and show you how my face looked before now. I'm telling you, I am going to come here and show you that particular picture. Because if I open my face now, you can't even see what I'm talking about. But by the time I begin to eat this healthy food, things changed. And that is what makes me who I am today. That is the reason why after all the degrees I've earned in life, go back and study nutrition. Because it's a passion for me. To talk about it, it's a passion for me. I love it so much. Why? Because the food has healed me. And I'm preaching that to you. I'm bringing this awareness to you. But if I think I'm eating healthy and I don't pay attention to what that food is telling my body, peanut was my problem, was the root cause of my problem. Are you telling me that peanut is not healthy? It is super healthy. The best fat from peanut you get. Yet, it still hurts me. I still feel pain. I feel depressed because you see the way my face looked. You don't want to talk to me. But now, I am healed because I was able to change my diet. I was able to substitute it. And I'm telling you that it is not because the food that is giving you reaction, this healthy food that is giving you reaction, is not because they are not good. It's because you need to substitute them with another food that will equally give you the same nutrient your body needs. That is it. But this is impossible if you are not able to discover that this is not good for me. You cannot do it if you cannot even figure out that this food, it is not for my body. And that is why we are here this morning. Yes. Now, which healthy foods react in the body, even though they are healthy? This is what we have been waiting for. And I'm very sure some of you are asking the question, okay, this is not, this react, that react. What exactly is going on? Which food are we talking about? Let's dive into it. When we talk about healthy foods that cause unexpected reactions, we are usually looking at 3 main culprits. We're looking at anti-nutrients, fermentable sugars, and histamines. Histamines. Start with H. Google it. Let's start with anti-nutrient group. Anti-nutrient foods are nutrients dense but contain compounds that can block mineral absorption or irritate the gut lining. Even though they are nutrients dense, they contain compounds, things that can block mineral like zinc, calcium, potassium. Those are the minerals you get from the food you eat. And if you are not consuming any food that can give you all that, then you need to start today. Okay? You need to start today. So, Number one, and this food, this particular food, the food that is in this category, number one is spinach and beet green. Yes, beet green. You know what I mean by beet green? Beetroot, the leaves, that's what we call beet greens. So spinach and beet greens, they are very high in oxalates. And this oxalate triggers joint pain or kidney stone in sensitive people. So if you are kind of people that react to food and you eat spinach or greens, this beet green, it means your body is reacting. The oxalate in those grains is reacting in your body. Pay attention to that, because they contain a lot of oxalate, and oxalate triggers joint pain. That's why you are having joint pain, arthritis, or you have something, the kidney stones and something like that. Number two is all grains and legumes. This category of food, whole grains and legumes. Now, people are telling you, eat whole grains, legumes like beans, those food, they are good. I'm not saying they are not good, but this category of food, they contain phytic acid. This phytic acid can block the absorption of iron, zinc, and calcium. Why? Because this food contains phytic acid. The body is unable to absorb all the minerals, including this iron, zinc, and calcium. The phytic acid block these minerals. It is not that the minerals aren't in your food. They are not there in your food. And the nutrition label is not lying. Your food has all this. It is just that the phytic acid acts like a nutritional thief. It's the one stealing those minerals in your food. So you want to think of phytic acid as a magnet. Think of phytic acid as a magnet. When it enters your digestive system, it finds minerals like zinc, calcium, and iron and clicks onto them. Once they are stuck together, your human digestion enzymes are strong enough. They are not strong enough to pull them apart. Your immune system, especially when you enter certain age, you don't have a strong immune system to fight anymore. So when this phytic acid clicks these minerals together, they get stuck together. They are stuck together. Now, your immune digestive enzymes inside of you, they are not strong enough to pull them apart. Why? Because your body can only absorb free minerals. The bound up pairs passes through your system and out as waste. Now, eating a diet high in unsoaked whole grains such as legumes, nuts, and seed essentially means you are consuming these foods in their dormant or protected state. Yes, and here is what happened when that happened. In nature, these plants use phytic acid and enzyme inhibitors as a defense mechanism to prevent themselves from sprouting until the conditions are exactly right. When you eat them without soaking this type of food, you are also eating those defense chemicals. You are eating these chemicals if you don't soak the food. Does this mean the foods are bad? Not necessary. But it means they are conditional. They are conditional. They are. Now, here is unhealthy result if this happens. If you eat a diet very high in unsoaked brown rice, or wheat, and raw beans, you might feel tired. If you don't soak your beans, this is what we do. How many of us know that you have to soak your beans before you cook it? We don't do that. Our parents don't know. That is why we don't know. It's because we are educated enough to go on this line to know that this is the way the food should be prepared. That is the reason why we know. But I am telling you for free today, what happens if some of the food we eat is not prepared in this format? All right? So if the food you eat, such as whole grain, beans, let me take beans for instance, if they are not soaked before you cook and eat them, you might feel tired if you cook them. It means when you feel tired, it means you have a low iron. Your iron is low. Anyone that feels tired, first of all, you should know that your iron is low. It might come with other problems, but your iron is low. When you eat this type of food and you feel tired, your iron is low, or you get sick very often, it means your zinc is low. Or you have weak bones, it means your calcium is low, even though you think you are eating clean. And the healthy result is, if you use traditional preparation methods, you deactivate the thief called phytic acid. And I'll tell you the method in a minute. If you want to unlock the minerals in the body and actually absorb the nutrients in grains and legumes, such as beans, you need one of these 3 keys. One of these 3 keys. You have to accept it, or you do all the 3. As you please. As all of them are convenient for you. You have to use at least one of these keys to unlock the minerals in the body. Because phytic are locking them up. It doesn't want this mineral to do their job. So you have to use one of these 3 keys to unlock it, to deactivate this phytic acid, which is bacteria I'm talking about. Number 1 is soaking. 2, sprouting. And the last one is fermenting. When I tell people that pap, ogi, is the best food you want to take in the morning, whatever you want to take with it, even if it is just that pap alone. You know why? Because ogi is a fermented food. Ogi is not prepared like every other food. It is fermented. Okay? Let's start with fermenting. Now, fermenting is the most effective method for unlocking minerals the body cannot absorb. That is why I said take pap in the morning to unlock the bacteria called phytic acid. Because bacteria in things like miso eat phytic acid, making those food much more bioavailable, easier for your body to use. That's the bioavailable. They make it available than their unfermented versions. When you make your food as when you ferment it. When you ferment, let's use pap. So the way pap is prepared, the bacteria in it called phytic acid is deactivated the moment ogi become ogi. The moment that particular food, pap, become pap and ready to consume, it is fermented. And this so-called phytic acid has been deactivated, and it makes it available for your body to absorb those minerals, the zinc, the calcium, whatever it is, the iron. Now, I am encouraging you to make your food, any food you want to eat. If you cannot ferment it, you can soak it. If you cannot soak it, you can sprout it. And I believe that apart from pap, any other food you want to eat, of course, you cannot ferment it. The process is quite different. But when it comes to beans, or you are cooking this, you are cooking that, those legumes, grains, your oats, your beans, you must soak them first. Soak your beans or grains in water for 12 to 24 hours before cooking. Yes, that's what you do. Because it is fermented before consumption. And that gives your body, opportunity to absorb whatever you want to absorb. It gives rooms to your body to absorb those minerals in the beans. Why? Because soaking has deactivated the phytic acid in the food that prevents your body from absorbing the minerals, so-called iron, zinc, or calcium you get from these grains and legumes. So if you want to do it, and when you soak your beans or grains in water for 12 to 24 hours before cooking, it activates an enzyme called phytase. This phytase breaks down the phytic acid. How many of us took the beans? How many? We just clean. Some don't even wash their beans. They just put it on the stove. And it boils. They turn it to beans. And they eat. Boiling, cooking doesn't kill this phytic acid. I'm telling you for free. Go online and research for it. You only kill the bacteria by 50 to 60%. Yes, but when you soak your beans for 12 to 24 hours, okay, you want to cook beans tomorrow, soak it tonight. Maybe when you come back from work, or before you go to work. If you sleep from now till next morning, you probably have 12 hours before you cook your beans. That and cooking kill the phytic acid 100%. A lot of health issue we suffer today is due to what we have consumed long time ago. Because I'm very sure that you want to be saying it right there that the food I've been eating even before I was born. No. Now, pay attention to your body. What are you suffering for now? What type of issue do you have right now? It's because of what you have eaten when I was born. Now, I'm aged. You are feeling the pain. You see, a lot of things happen to our body, which we have no idea when that problem starts at all. And when people tell me, when I speak to my clients, and they want to confirm to me that they keep healthy lifestyle, they eat good, they do exercise, they do this, and I'm now asking, so how come you have diabetes? How come you have high blood pressure? How come you have kidney problem? How come you have this or that or this or that? They have no idea. They cannot even answer. I know the answer, and I'll tell them. You either been taking those drugs or eating those food like alcohol, gogoro, cigarettes, some junk food you've eaten before you change your lifestyle, before you adopt that healthy lifestyle. They hurt you now. You don't know? Because a lot of things get stuck. Okay, for instance, we're talking about this phytic acid now. We don't know that we have to soak the beans to kill the bacteria at least 50%. That might be the problem we are suffering from now. Let me tell you, everybody have one issue or the other to take care of, to battle with, to deal with. Mine may be minor, maybe a little bit lesser than what you are going through. But let me tell you, if we are not going through physical problem, mental problem is there, emotional problem is there. There are a bunch of them that you are going through. Believe it or not. So, fermenting, soaking, and of course, sprouting prevent the minerals like iron, zinc, and calcium from being locked up by phytic acid for the body to absorb them. Bam! No negotiation. Believe it or not. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. Eating these food isn't the problem. It is the preparation. All this healthy food, eating them, consuming them is not the problem. The problem is the way we prepare them. Now, by soaking them in water, if it's something you must soak in the water, if it's a type of food you must soak in the water, like beans, you want to soak them sometimes with a splash of lemon or apple cider vinegar for 8 to 24 hours. When I'm eating, I'm making if I'm cooking fish, because I eat fish more than every other meat, chicken, beef, whatever it is, I must soak it with apple cider vinegar. If I don't have apple cider vinegar, or I just decide to use lemon, I soak them. That kills those bacteria for at least 50% before I now boil or cook. And that is why you see when you go to restaurants, they give you lemon to squeeze in your either salad or your beef or whatever you are eating. Why? Because they know the lemon will kill the bacteria left in that food. And that is why I said, don't go to the restaurants. Don't live the whole life, your whole life at the restaurants. Morning, afternoon, evening is restaurants. There are some food prepared in restaurants that are not well done. They don't cook it properly. They don't prepare it properly. There's no hygiene. And nobody, especially in Nigeria, nobody is going to check on them. Unlike here. Now, with my certificate as a nutritionist, if I want to work with anybody in that hospital, healthcare system, healthcare center, or I want to work at the restaurants, I must have food handler certificates, license. Food handler. I'm not cooking, I'm not preparing, but you must have it because they know that you are dealing with food, even if it is not physical. I still went ahead and did the test, did the class, and passed. This is what's supposed to be happening in Nigeria. Anyone that wants to involve in this type of business must go through this class. Food, how to handle food. You learn a lot there. If you are able to have this experience, You will be able to prepare, manage, and, make your food available, healthy for people to consume. People are just making food. They're just cooking. You go to some restaurants, you see a lot of unclean environment. You see bacteria. You see their countertop. Like, you want to see like Jesus. Go to the back end. You will be surprised of what is going on there. If you cook your food in your house, will you see all that? No. Apart from saving money from cooking your meal, because that's one of the benefits. Apart from saving money from cooking your food in your house, you save yourself from all these bacteria. You control your seasoning. If you have diabetes and you want to go and be eating out, how do you tell the restaurants that, please reduce the salt, reduce the sugar? Do you want to come to my shop and tell me, madam, I have diabetes, please reduce the sugar, reduce the salt? Do you go to the store and tell the store? Because the food they are preparing, they are making for the food consumption, is for thousands and millions of people, not for you alone. But if you make your food in your house, you control all this. You control your environment, the hygiene, the seasoning, the measurement. You eat it at your own time, in your own environment, clean environment. You go to some restaurant, Buka, in Nigeria. I am so much passionate about this Nigerian, food industry. You see, some will be making amala. You will see a lot of people buying this amala. And you will see one baby, releasing, dedicating right there. Oh, Lord Jesus. Lord have mercy. This is what causes problem. So by sucking your food, I'm sorry, I have to talk like that. When it comes to food, I get emotional because I've seen a lot. After this, after I chose this profession, even though I've been going to my country regularly, hey, after I have experience of being a nutritionist, an hygienist, oh Lord Jesus, when I get to restaurants, my body will be shaking like I should just bring everybody like this and have them educated, enlightened. Because what I'll be seeing will be so annoying. So that is why I cannot talk on this show without getting emotional. Okay? Please bear me with that. So let's go back to our topic. You want to soak your food, beans especially, for 8 to 24 hours. You can use vinegar or you can use, lemon. Or you don't have to use anything for your beans. I'm talking about fish, any type of meat. Be ye your fish, your chicken, your beef. Make sure this thing, you see, this meat, they carry a lot of bacteria. And you have to make sure you kill all of them before you consume them. And you can only do that if you are able to soak them 8 to 24 hours with either lemon, lime, or apple cider vinegar. If you do this, phytic acid is reduced. Enzyme inhibitors are neutralized. Beneficial enzymes are activated. Those enzymes that are supposed to take from that, they get activated. They are able to take to eat, to have it, to do whatever they want to do with it. It gets activated. Cooking time is shortened. The cooking time is shortened. and that preserves other heat sensitivity vitamins. Yes, a lot of us cook. If you see some people cooking vegetables, they make sure that they cook that vegetable and you cannot even see the grain. You think you are cooking black leaves. Your vegetable, even after cooking, it must still show the color, the grain. If you are able to soak your vegetables enough to kill that bacteria for that long, at least for 50 to 60%, you don't have to take too long time, much time to cook again. The cooking time is reduced, it's shortened. And that prevents the heat sensitivity. I mean, putting it on the stove for a very long time, because you've already killed the bacteria by 50 to 60% before cooking. So why staying too long on the stove before you can say that you finish cooking? No. And the last anti-nutrient food is raw cruciferous vegetables like kale and broccoli. They contain goitrogens, and that interfere with thyroid function if eaten in large raw quantity. Now, the second group of food that reacts in the body are those that cause bloating and gas. And these are healthy carbohydrates that some people's small intestine struggle to absorb, leading to fermentation by gut bacteria. Garlic and onions falls into this category. They are common triggers for several bloating and acid reflux. So if you are the one that have been eating garlic and onions, and you begin to have bloating or acid reflux, it means that garlic and onion is not for you. That is why I always see many people, when I see, video that has to do with consumption, and people are telling you, add this, add that, garlic, onion, turmeric, ginger. When they ask you to put everything together, they have no idea what we call bioindividuality. They need to be telling people, if they want to post, whether you copy from somewhere or somebody, like I'm telling you now, you want to go and create your own, content. From what I'm saying now, you need to let people know that this thing I'm asking you to consume is not for everybody. Pay attention to your body. Or if this happens, if that happens, do not do this, do not do that. This is what we're supposed to be saying. You don't just throw things on social media for everybody without giving concrete information for people to know, to realize, because people are not doing what you are doing. They don't even know your background, whether you are a nutritionist or a diet or a doctor or a health professional. They have no idea. So once you drop this information online, they want to do it because they are suffering. Something is wrong with them. Exactly what you said is the problem they are going through. But if you have added information that, please, if you have, this type of bloating or, any reaction when you eat certain food, such as the one I'm posting, please do not eat it. See your doctor. It's not for you. That helps a lot. It saves a lot of lives. Because many people, during COVID, a lot of people died in New York. And yet, these people are said to be taking ginger. Yet, they still die. Why? Because they take too much. Are you telling me that ginger is not good? It is. But the consumption, the preparation, the measurement, the time we all consume this matters a lot. They are the reason why we still get hot taking this healthy food. That is the point I'm making here. So if you have garlic and onions. You eat it and you begin to have bloating or acid reflux. Stop eating it. It is not for your body, not for your biology. Apples and pears are very high in fructose, which can cause gas or osmotic diarrhea. Osmotic diarrhea happens when there is something in your gut that your body cannot absorb. So it pulls water out of your tissue and into your intestine to wash it out. That is what we mean by osmotic diarrhea. So if you have apples and pears and you begin to have gas, so that is what I mean by gas, or you have this type of diarrhea, don't eat apples and pears. It is not for your body. Do not do it. I'm glad you are online today to know what the problem is, to know what is actually happening in your body. Beans and lentils contain complex sugars that are difficult for many to break down without specific enzymes. You need specific enzymes in your body to break this down. Some people don't have that enzymes. They don't have it. So when you eat beans and lentils, you will have problem. You will have reaction. You have allergy. You will have allergy. The next set of group of food falls into the inflammation and allergy group. These foods can trigger a systemic immune response, even if they are not junk food. But sometimes we think junk food it's only food that can cause inflammation and allergy. No. For instance, I've been eating peanuts, granuts, for more than 20 years before I realized that he was the cause. This particular nut was the cause of my acne. Are you telling me that peanut is unhealthy food? No. Even though if they are not healthy, if they are not junk, this food trigger your systemic immune system. And I'm talking about tomatoes, eggplants, potatoes, peppers. They contain alkaloids that some people find trigger joint inflammation or skin flare-ups. Yes, fermented food, kombucha, sauerkraut, aged cheese, they are very high in histamine. Why all these foods are great for gut health? They can cause headaches, hives, or heart palpitation. When your heart is saying pim, 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 palpitation, heart palpitation. And that is in people with histamine intolerance. Nuts like walnut, cashews, they are also high in omega-6 fatty acid, which, if not balanced with omega-3s, can contribute to low-grade inflammation. Yes, omega-3, we have omega-3, we have omega-6 acid. So if you eat walnut and cashew, you have to make sure you have to balance it with omega-3. You have to eat any nut or any food with omega-3s. You have to make sure you eat it together. If you always have allergy and you react to food like that. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you will have inflammation. If you don't do that, you will have inflammation. So for you to lower your inflammation, you need to combine omega-6 fatty acid and omega-3s. There's that. And the last group of food falls into the hidden sugar group, such as fruit juices, smoothies. I said it in the beginning that those smoothies, even though they are healthy, they still hurt your body because the fiber is broken down or removed. The natural sugar now hits your liver instantly, potentially causing insulin resistance over time. When you blend this, blend that, you put apple, you put this, you put that, you blend everything together, you think you are drinking healthy. There are some fruits you cannot blend together. How about that? I'm going to come back and tell you what food combining is. We combine a lot of things we are not supposed to combine, and yet we still see that we are eating healthy. Oh, no. No. If you have, you have diabetes and you think you can have smoothie without paying attention to which food, which fruits, is good for your body based on your body biology, then you'll be having high glucose. Your blood pressure, your eye sugar will be going up. And you'll still be saying, and I'm eating fruit, I'm eating banana, I'm eating apple, I'm eating this. No, you can be eating all this, yet you are still hurting yourself. Yes, because they are natural sugar doesn't mean they cannot hurt you. They can. And some people always go for agave nectar. It's a kind of sugar. They say, oh, it's natural. That's another food that is often marketed as a healthy sugar alternatives. But it is extremely high in fructose, which can be hard on the liver. Your liver can get hurt with that agave nectar. It's a type of sugar they use for coffee. Some people say, oh, I don't want honey, I don't want red sugar, I don't want brown sugar, I'll go for agave nectar. No problem. By the time he affect, he hit and attack your liver, you will know you don't want to. It's not something that is meant for you, because you will have been seeing the symptoms, the signs, the allergy, the reaction, but you don't know, you don't pay attention. And that is why your liver is damaged today. Because all this reaction, all this negative reaction of eating this so-called healthy food, it's been telling you, but you don't know, you don't pay attention. You are not aware. That is why your liver damaged today. That is why you have kidney problem. That is why you have diabetes. That is why you have cancer. Yes. Attention to detail is very important, not only at your job. Attention to detail to your body. It's also matter. It matters a lot. If you are not the type, then you'll be having problem. Don't focus your attention on business, on your job, on your children, on all the family. Focus on your body. Your attention should be on your body henceforth. Very important. Henceforth. Now, how do we identify reactive food? When the food are now reacting, how do you identify the food that react? I think that's the last phase now. I'm going to suggest looking for these 3 signs of reaction. If you want to identify a reactive food, these 3 signs. Your skin. Pay attention to your skin. Most importantly, the skin is the first thing that reacts. Because most food we eat, the reaction starts from the skin. Especially peanut, some fruits. The skin. If your skin becomes red, the redness part is the reaction. If you start itching after you eat, after 2 hours, don't forget, after 2 hours. If you feel itching or redness on your skin after 30 minutes to 1 hour, before 2 hours, it's probably the food you ate before that food. That's what I want you to pay attention to. And you begin to have sudden acne after food, either on your face, on your arms, at the back of your, in your back right here, on your chest. Those are the areas that you can have acne. And it starts with pimples. When you now begin to pluck it, or, want to remove the pores, it becomes acne, becomes dark. So what you do is pay attention to the food. Stop eating that food and put, what do you call it? I'll remember now. Tea tree oil. Just take your cotton swab and put it in your tea tree oil and drop it on it. It will disappear overnight. I'm telling you what I did, because I have acne too. My face, like I said, I'm going to bring my picture. My face was like, you can't even compare that I was the one in that picture, because you can't even see any space on my face. So don't try to remove the pores. Leave the pores and put the tea tree oil. Before overnight, it disappears. So you don't become treating acne. So your skin showing redness, itching, acne, it means that some food are reacting, or a food is reacting. Either one. Okay? Because most of us, we eat now, in the next 30 minutes, another food. In another 1 hour, another food. Another 2 hours, another food. Okay? So please, it is important. Let me put my... I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to break this thing into two, but I want to finish this topic. I don't want to talk about it next time. Next time will be digestion. Another signal, the sign of a reaction, is brain. Your brain. When you begin to have brain fog or a sudden drop in your mood, you begin to feel impatient. Your mood just switch after you eat. After finish eating, you just feel like you're not happy. That is a sign that the food is not for your body. You also want to pay attention to your pulse. So skin, brain, and pulse. Pulse. It's a significant rise in heart rate. And when food affects your heart and make your heart rise, increase, we call it tachycardia. And if that happens shortly after a meal, it is tachycardia. That means the food you eat is affecting your heart. Now, speaking of how food affects your heart to cause tachycardia, it might seem strange that something in your stomach can make your heart race. But it is actually a very common unhealthy result of healthy foods. When your heart rate jumps after eating, we call it postprandial tachycardia. Your body is sending a distress signal. Yes, distress signal. Here is how it happens. The blood flow redirects. That is number one that happens. Number one things that happen. The blood flow redirects. Digestion requires a lot of energy. For your body to digest the food, you need a lot of energy. And your body naturally sends more blood to your gut to help process a meal, any food you eat. Now, to keep your blood pressure steady elsewhere, your heart has to beat a little faster or harder. Yes. Now, here is unhealthy twist. If that happens, if a meal is too heavy, too large, or very high in processed carb, those of you that eat junks, McDonald's, Burger King, what do you call all this pizza, this and that. The heart has to work overtime. Your heart will work overtime to keep up with the demand, causing noticeable racing. You don't give your heart rest. Your heart is now working 24/7 instead of 20 hours, instead of 15 hours, instead of 10 hours. It's now working 24/7 to make sure that what is going on, because your body is sending a distress signal. And what happened? The insulin spike occurs. Yes, the insulin spike occurs because you eat a healthy meal that is secretly high in sugar, like a massive fruit smoothie or a large bowl of white rice. Because you eat that, your blood sugar spikes. And when your blood sugar spikes, your body releases a surge of insulin. Yes, that's what happened. And insulin stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. That is your fight or flight response. And that triggers the release of adrenaline hormone, which makes your heart pound. Like that's when you have palpitation. Yes. Now, I mentioned this earlier. The histamine reaction is another thing. I'm not going to go back there. If your body can break down histamine fast enough, they enter the bloodstream. Histamine now acts as a vasodilator. They widen your blood vessel. That's what vasodilator means. If histamine, if it acts as a vasodilator, it means that your blood vessel is bigger, is widened, become bigger. Okay, becomes big. That's what happened. Now your heart rate skyrockets to compensate for the sudden drop in blood pressure. And the last thing I can think of right now, when your body is sending a distress signal, if you eat unsoaked beans or grain that cause massive gas and bloating in the stomach or transverse colon, the gas physically pushes your diaphragm upward. Yes. And this puts pressure on the vagus nerve or the bottom of the heart itself. And the pressure triggers palpitation or a race heart, simply because the heart doesn't have enough physical space to beat normally. That's why you have tachycardia. Yes. Now, this is what you can do. It's like a test. You can try Coker's pulse test to know if your body reacts to the food you eat or not. You want to sit. See, like the way I'm sitting. You sit like this. You sit quietly and take your pulse before a meal. Not after. Before your meal. Sit like Omoluabi. Sit quietly like this. Take your pulse. If you don't know how to take your pulse, go on YouTube and go and learn. By now, everybody should know how to take their pulse. It's not for health professionals alone. You take your pulse. You can use this, or you can use device. There's a device that has everything is, everything is, what do you call electro now? Yes. So you can use it. So after taking your meal, your pulse, eat the healthy meal. Eat the food. Now, take your pulse again 30 to 60 minutes later. Not immediately you consume the meal. After 30 to 60 minutes you consume the meal, take your pulse again. Yeah. If your heart rate increases by more than 16 beats per minute, your body is likely having an inflammatory or allergic reaction to something in that healthy food. Yes, your body is reacting. So now, having said all this, here is a takeaway. I'm going to summarize everything that I've said now. I'm going to recap all I've been saying for the past 1 hour. You see, when it comes, you pay attention to what I did today. I've been talking about health, heart, and this is my background also heart, kidney, this and that. In case you're just joining us and this is your first time, you can check on Healthy Living with Bofa on YouTube. I have a bunch of, projects on there. But I barely spend this longer. Barely spend this time. Staying this longer. I barely do it on those areas when I was talking about those health issues. Pay attention that when I'm talking about this food, nutrition, diet, it takes me more than necessary. It takes me longer time because this is where my passions lies. And when I'm talking to people, immediately they mention food, I relax. Even when I'm doing something that I need to finish on time, I'm going to leave that aside and talk about food. Everybody around me know that. I get excited when it comes to food, nutrition. So that is why I'm taking my time to tell you this. Because I know a lot of people need this information. So having said all this, this is what I want you to take home. I'm taking it home is not take it and put it on your shelf. No. I'm not saying take this and go home, open your closet, lock it up. No. I am telling you that all this I told you today, you have to practice it. You have to experiment it. Meditate on it. And if you have these signs, you have this problem, even if you don't, still go ahead. Do it. So this is number one I want you to know. Don't just eat all foods. Prepare them using the 3 methods mentioned earlier. Sprouting, soaking, and fermenting. Either way. And I'm very sure that at least you will use soak. That soaking is what you will use because most of food we eat, we need to soak them. Not everybody eats all this fermented food, except people back home. Some people make pap here in America. They make it. Thank God. I also go home, I bring ogi, pap. I come with it all the time. I have a woman that makes it for me. Blend, have my thing bought, give it to me. Maize to tibaje. No. Get them. And she's super clean. Make it for me. I drink. I take it. So make sure you eat all food. Prepare them using any of these 3 methods. Number 1. Number 2, always throw away the soaking water because it contains the toxins the plant used for defense. When you soak, because a lot of people will make this, what do you call it? Pap. When they are making this pap, they have to soak corn and then blend it. Then whatever they do to eat for 3 to 4 days before it can become a consumable product. The water used to soak that particular corn, some people still use it for, I don't understand what they use it for, but I have an idea that they also use it for something. You cannot do that. Discard them. They contain toxin because you are trying to get rid of something bad, toxin in that thing. That is why you soak it so that it can get out. Now you want to use the thing that you've already succeeded in getting those bacteria out by 50%. You now take the water and be telling me that it's good for malaria. You use it to soak this. You know, they contain toxins. You cannot use them. Number 3, always pay attention to your body when you consume any food or drink. Why? Because your body tells you the truth 2 hours after a meal. And if you don't pay attention, you will not know. That's the fact. Your body must definitely tell you something, whether the food is good or not. You will definitely get signal. It is now to your responsibility. Yes, it is your responsibility to pay attention, to listen to what your body is saying, because your body must talk. It's a must. It must talk. So make it your priority to pay attention when your body speaks. Now, if you feel brain fog, tachycardia, that is your heart is racing, is beating, or bloating after 2 hours, exactly 2 hours after eating, that healthy food is causing an inflammatory response. Yes, that is what that food is causing. And your pulse shouldn't jump up by more than 16 beats per minute after eating. When you take your pulse, make sure it doesn't jump up more than 60 minutes. If it does, there's a problem. If it does, your body is in fight or flight mode. Now, I want you to save the synergy secret in your head. This is not what you are going to put somewhere. Write it down and go and keep it. No. This type of secret, I call it synergy. You need to save it in your head. Number 1, and this is for people that take supplements, especially minerals and vitamins. You want to take iron plus vitamin C. Yes, you know why you want to take it? Plant iron is locked until vitamin C opens the door. So if you take iron and you are not taking vitamin C, the iron is just sitting in your body. It's not going to do anything until you take vitamin C. And remember, I've mentioned something like that. Women should be taking iron and vitamin C. Vitamin C works good for your body, for your skin, both in and out, internal and external. And iron replaces the blood, your blood flow you lose every month. Either you are still losing blood or not. You are still on your period or you are now in your menopause. You still need iron. Because whatever you are doing daily, energy and your body is the one in action. So you need to be taking your iron. And when you are taking it, always, complement it with vitamin C. That's number 1. Number 2, magnesium and vitamin D3 or B6 goes together. Because magnesium activates your vitamin D. And B6 pushes the magnesium into your cells. So if you are not taking magnesium, if you are taking magnesium and you are not taking vitamin D, your magnesium is sitting somewhere in your body, doing nothing. And you know when things like that sit in your body, it's another problem. These 2 things, they are very important because I know a lot of people are taking magnesium, vitamin D's, vitamin that, vitamin D's, iron, but how do you take it? How much do you take? How much do you take? Now, here is your takeaway. Final takeaway. Never take magnesium and calcium at the same time. Calcium. You know, I mentioned magnesium and vitamin D or B. You cannot take magnesium and calcium at the same time. However, if you have a bottle that says magnesium and calcium, pay attention to the bottle. If it says vitamin D with vitamin D, that is fine. But if you have the bottle that says magnesium and calcium without vitamin D, you cannot take it. Imagine supplement company called Patinije. Because let me tell you the truth, the government is not scrutinizing them like they do to drugs company. It's just supplement. They see it as ABBA supplement, natural food. That is why they are not scrutinizing them. So if you don't know that you cannot take magnesium and calcium together now without vitamin D with it, then don't take it together. Take it separately. I'm not saying you cannot take calcium. You can. But you have to take it separately, apart, time apart. It is very important. Why? They will fight for the same doorway and neither will get in. Both of them fight to go inside your bloodstream or your cells, your this and that. But none of them will get in because they are struggling to get into that narrow way. The narrow door. None of them will get in. And meanwhile, you need them. And finally, remember that this particular nature we are talking about, nature puts a lock on the best nutrients to protect the plant. Those plants you see out there, they don't want you to eat them. They also want to live. That is why nature put lock on them. And this lock are those bacteria, those, toxin, this and that. Because they know that this plant has this, they have that, you want to stay away. But we still need to eat them. And the only thing that can remove that lock is traditional cooking. Traditional cooking gives us the keys to open what the nation locked on that plant. What the nation locked in that plant. Traditional cooking gives us the key to open it. So please, stop fighting your food. You don't need to fight your food. Start unlocking your health. And the only way to do that is by cooking. There is no other way. And I feel sorry for those that go to the restaurants and eat uncooked, half-cooked food. And that is why many people get sick today. That is it. Nothing but that is it. That's all I can educate today. And I want you to stay informed and healthy. Until next week, I'm Dr. Betty, and here is the Healthy Living, guiding you and your household towards a very strong, healthier, and beautiful body. Good night, everybody.